Look at your hand. Move your fingers. It feels like you made that choice, doesn't it? A simple command from the throne of your consciousness. But what if I told you that by the time you decided to move, the movement had already begun? What if I told you that the you reading this is not the pilot of your life, but merely a passenger, a public relations officer hired by a silent, much darker entity to explain away actions it has already taken? There is a stranger living behind your eyes, and they don't need your permission to act. For centuries, we've operated under a comfortable lie. We call it the unified self. We believe that behind our foreheads sits a single, coherent soul, a captain at the wheel. We assume that our thoughts, our fears, and our late-night cravings all stem from the same source. But in the 1960s, a series of radical medical procedures tore this illusion apart. To treat severe epilepsy, surgeons began cutting the corpus callosum, the thick bundle of nerves connecting the left and right hemispheres of the brain. They severed the bridge. The goal was to stop the electrical storms of a seizure from spreading. It worked. The patients woke up, they spoke, they walked, and they seemed normal. But then the other introduced itself. Imagine reaching into your closet to pick out a shirt. Your right hand reaches for the blue one, but suddenly your left hand grabs your wrist, pulls it back, and forces you to pick the red one. This isn't a horror movie. This is alien hand syndrome, a documented reality for split brain patients. One hemisphere wants to hug a loved one. The other hemisphere reaches out to slap them. This is where the chilling realization begins. You are not a single person. You are a committee of two, and they don't always agree. Researchers began to realize that the left hemisphere is the interpreter. It houses the language center. It is the one that talks. It is the one that says, I. The right hemisphere, however, is silent. It observes, it feels, it reacts, but it cannot speak. In one famous experiment, researchers showed a split brain patient two different images. The right eye saw a chicken claw, and the left eye saw a snowy landscape. The patient was then asked to choose related pictures from an array. Their right hand, controlled by the left, speaking brain picked a chicken. Their left hand, controlled by the silent right brain, picked a shovel. When asked why they picked the shovel, the speaking brain didn't say, I don't know. My other half saw snow. It couldn't see the snow. But it didn't want to look foolish. It didn't want to admit it wasn't in control. Instead, it lied. Instantly, without hesitation, the patient looked at the shovel and said, oh, the shovel is to clean out the chicken coop. The interpreter inside your head is a master of delusion. It spends its entire day watching things happen that it didn't initiate and then weaving a story to make it seem like it was the plan all along. This is the part almost nobody talks about. Your conscious mind is a storyteller, not a decision maker. But it gets darker. The silent half of your brain isn't just a backup processor. It has its own personality. It has its own religion. It has its own political views. In one study, a patient was asked if he believed in God. The left brain said yes. The right brain, communicating through letter blocks, spelled out no. You are literally sharing a skull with an atheist or a believer, a lover or a hater, who is trapped in a room with no windows, unable to speak, watching you live a life they might despise. We like to think these split-brain patients are an anomaly. We tell ourselves that because our brains are intact, we are unified. But modern neuroscience suggests something much more disturbing. The bridge between your hemispheres doesn't create unity. It just creates better communication for the interpreter. The same mechanism is happening inside you right now. Think about the last time you snapped at someone you love, or the time you reached for a cigarette or a drink, despite promising yourself you'd quit. In those moments, you felt like a spectator in your own body. You watched yourself do it, and only afterward did you come up with the excuse, I was tired. I was stressed. I deserved it. These aren't reasons. They are press releases, the other inside you, the vast unconscious machinery that handles your instincts, your traumas, and your deepest biological drives, makes the move first. It feels the hunger. It triggers the anger. It initiates the attraction. And only then does your conscious mind wake up, look around the room, and try to take credit for the mess. This isn't really about brain surgery. It's about the terrifying truth of the human condition. We are built on a foundation of hidden depths. We are the tip of an iceberg that thinks it's the whole mountain. We spend our lives narrating a movie we didn't direct, starring an actor we don't fully know. The you that you identify with is just the narrator. The other is the one holding the knife. The other is the one falling in love. And the other is the one who will ultimately decide how your story ends. We walk through life with a sense of agency that is, at best, a helpful hallucination. We call ourselves individuals, a word that literally means indivisible. But science has shown us that we are divisible. We are fractured. We are a collection of competing shadows wrapped in a single skin. You might find this unsettling. You might feel a sudden urge to close this video, to look away, to go back to the comfort of believing you are the one in charge. But ask yourself, was that your idea? Or did the stranger in your head decide it was time to leave? The most haunting thought isn't that there is someone else living inside you. It's the realization that you have never once met them, and you never will. You are the only person in the world who thinks they know you, and you are the only one who is wrong.